My name is Alec, and I've just decided to completely change my life. Bought a piece of land where I'm going to build a house for myself and my son. On this channel, I'll show you the entire process of building a wooden house, talk about the costs, and share the challenges I'll face along the way. I hope these videos will inspire someone else to follow an equally crazy dream. Those of you who have been here before know that my journey has been going on for quite some time. I'm building a wooden house, and I still haven't touched a piece of wood. That's because I really don't like earthworks, so I decided to get them all out of the way now and never have to come back to them later. I've poured the foundations, brought in electricity and water. Now it's time for the sewer line. I need to connect the house's wastewater outlet to the septic tank. Since I don't have enough sand for the bedding and backfilling, I'm screening the sand I already have on site. It's quite time-consuming, but there can't be any stones, lumps of clay, or other unwanted material underneath the sewer pipes. The plastic pipes need to sit on a nice, soft bedding, which in the end needs to be firm but soft. You know what I mean, at least I hope you do. I bought 9 cubic meters of sand for backfilling and compaction, so from now on I don't have to screen my own sand anymore. That should speed things up considerably. Getting the levels right is pretty straightforward. I took the opportunity to buy a used crossline laser level with a receiver. I can set the laser wherever I want and check the level indicated by the line on the measuring rod. From that reference point, I calculate all the other elevations. The sewer pipe needs to have a very slight slope, between 1.5 and 3%. I chose 2%. That means the pipe rises by 2 centimeters for every meter of its length. If the pipe is 2 meters long, its far end needs to be 4 centimeters higher than the next section and the next one. Don't worry that the pipe is sitting quite high. The ground level here will eventually be raised considerably. Once the pipe is in exactly the right position, I permanently connect it using the rubber seals. The seals are designed so that the pipe fits very tightly into the socket. I only install them at the end because repeatedly fitting and removing the pipes can damage the seals. I keep the seals in water with Ludwig, a Polish dishwashing liquid. It's probably the most popular plumbing lubricant on Polish construction sites. Of course, the pipe manufacturer recommends a special installation lubricant, but Ludwig has become something of a standard on construction sites across Poland. Now that I have the right sand and don't have to screen it anymore, things move much faster. I check every pipe with the laser, adding or compacting sand underneath as needed. Then the seal, push the pipe into the socket and move on to the next one. Time to test the installation. Everything works. Now I can bury the pipes. You already know the technology. 17 shovelfuls per wheelbarrow, 10 wheelbarrows, then a brake, and so on. Standard procedure when you're building a wooden house, obviously. The next stage is the retaining wall. The ground level underneath the garages is going to be significantly higher than the level underneath the house. If I simply piled up the soil and left it like that, it would eventually slump sideways. So I need to prevent it from moving. There are various ways to do this. I decided to build a retaining wall using concrete curbs installed vertically. Each curb is 1.2 meters long and 8 centimeters thick. That means almost a meter of each one will be buried in the ground. To make sure the soil isn't pushing against the wall from only one side, I'll also raise the ground level on the house side so that the difference in height is only around a dozen centimeters. No more than that. That way, the wall should be able to do its job safely. First, I'm removing the cardboard formwork from the posts that will be in direct contact with the fill. Concrete bonds well to concrete, but if there's a layer of paper between them, sooner or later that paper will deteriorate, leaving gaps that could eventually lead to cracks. And I definitely don't want that. The curbs arrived on site earlier. Now the local building supply yard has delivered bags of cement and sand. Everything I need to make the mortar. First, I need to establish the line and height of the wall. I'm setting it 5 centimeters away from the outer edges of the corner footings. I use the laser to establish the height. There's not much to it, especially since I've already done this several times in previous episodes. Now I need to dig a trench for the curbs. And of course, the trench has to be level. Nobody wants a crooked wall. For the bedding, I am using a dry mortar mix at a ratio of 1 part cement to 4 parts sand. I know I could make it weaker, perhaps 1 to 7, but I prefer a stronger mix. Why am I doing it dry instead of wet? It doesn't really matter. The mortar will draw moisture from the soil and the air and set fairly quickly. Everything will eventually be covered with soil, so the whole structure will also be supported by compacted sand. In my opinion, it will last forever, which means at least 80 years. That's what forever means these days. Between the wall and the concrete footing, I'm going to pour some wet mortar so the pressure from the soil doesn't push the curbs over or break them. It's a small gap, but it needs to be filled. I'll come back to that later. For now, we continue building the wall. The job itself is fairly simple, but it does require some physical strength because each of these curbs weighs around 40 kilos. Even the wheelbarrow can only handle one at a time. Sorry about the plumber's crack I'm flashing at you. In the heat of battle with the building materials, I completely forgot to pull my trousers up. Something tells me this might happen again. Well, construction is a trade for people with strong arms and a thick skin. The string lines have done their job, so I can safely build the wall while keeping everything aligned with them. I have to cut the last few curbs to size because in this particular spot, some of the concrete from the footing spilled out of the formwork. There was no point breaking it off when I could simply put it to good use. All I have to do is cut the curbs to fit. And there we have it. The retaining wall is finished. Now I just have to bring in 2 dump trucks full of sand for the garage and the driveway. But that's a story for the next episode. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed to my channel, gave this video a thumbs up, or shared it with your friends. See you in the next episode.